Hi, my name is Melissa Hartman. This is for Communications 101. Today I will attempt to persuade you that mandatory drug testing for people receiving state aid is morally justifiable for many reasons. For many years now, there has been an ongoing debate about citizens who receive welfare benefits from the government being subject to random drug testing. As a taxpayer, I don't mind helping others who can help themselves, but I do not want to help those who don't want to help themselves and continue to abuse the system. As a state employee, I'm required to take random drug tests, and in return, I receive a paycheck. So why should it be different for the people not earning their money to do this? We as taxpayers provide support to those in need. So in return, welfare recipients should have to engage in responsible behavior and not use illicit drugs unless they want their benefits denied if they fail a drug test. There are people who oppose drug testing welfare recipients and claim it would only punish the families and take away from the kids. But if we agree with these people, we are simply condoning illegal behavior when we could be turning the situation around for them. We could get those people who are using drugs help, then prepare them for jobs and get them off the welfare system. As of right now, 15 states have passed legislation regarding drug screening or testing for public assistance applicants or recipients. As of March 2016, at least 17 states have proposed legislation requiring some form of drug testing or screening public assistance recipients this year, and Kentucky is one of those states. I believe West Virginia's Governor Tomblin has the best plan, and I believe all the states who are not should take a look at this. He signed it on March 23, 2016. It's called SB6, which creates a 3-year pilot program to screen welfare applicants for substance abuse issues. If the caseworker has reason to believe the applicant is abusing drugs, a drug test will be ordered. Applicants who test positive and attend substance abuse treatment, counseling, and a job skills program can continue to receive benefits. Applicants who refuse the drug screen or test are ineligible for assistance. However, a child whose parents test positive can still continue to receive benefits through a designated payee. The legislation also requires investigation and home visits from Child Protective Services for parents who test positive. The department must report to the legislator on the number of applicants testing positive, those with a reasonable suspicion, the number completing treatment, and the cost of the pilot program by December 31st, 2016, and annually thereafter. Some states who have mandatory drug testing for benefits have shown great results in their states, led to more employment, less dependency, higher wages, and people who are able to work saw their income increase when they re-entered the labor force. The state of Maine has been the leader in welfare reform and have showed that it is working. In October of 2014, they required about 16,000 able-bodied adults to work, train, or volunteer in order to continue receiving food stamps. If they refused to comply, they would cycle off after 3 months of benefits. By January 2015, the number of adults on food stamps had dropped to 4,500 and continued to decline since. Today, just 15-bodied childless adults rely on Maine's food stamps program. Those still relying on the program also need less assistance overall, as they are working more, with average benefits dropping 13% since the work requirements went into effect. As a result of these changes, taxpayers are now saving between $30 million and $40 million each year. More importantly, Maine's success story goes far beyond taxpayer savings. Maine's Department of Health and Human Services connected with the state's Department of Labor in order to evaluate the impact of the reforms. State officials then tracked employment and wage records for nearly 7,000 able-bodied adults as they cycled off food stamps when the work requirements were first implemented. The results were impressive. Within a year, these able-bodied adults saw their income rise by an average of 114%. That increase came as more able-bodied adults re-entered the labor force, worked more hours, or found jobs with higher wages. Thanks to the higher income, poverty rates have declined, and now working able-bodied adults are earning more than enough on average to bring them above federal poverty line. But the evidence is already in. Common sense welfare work requirements are moving able-bodied adults back into the labor force, increasing incomes, and reducing dependency. States like Maine and Kansas are already leading a second wave of welfare reform. As more states begin to implement similar reforms, more and more success stories will rise to the surface. Congress shall learn from the success stories and give states better tools to reemphasize work across the board, not just in food stamps, but in the welfare program. A lot of states are considering drug testing of welfare recipients is legal, and if it's beneficial due to the cost related to it. Welfare is for people who are in need, and need some assistance in their living situation or with food. Drugs are not the basic need for people, but a lot of people on welfare are abusing the system and taking advantage of it, so taxpayers are paying billions of dollars each year to fuel their addiction. As of right now, in many states, welfare assistance is a one-way handout. If people are truly in need, then I do not have a problem as a taxpayer helping them, but in return, I'd like for some of them to behave as we have to, because they are receiving free money. If we remove the people in the system who are abusing drugs, state aid programs would decrease the amount the state must provide to its citizens. If the state required them to be drug-free, it would weed a tremendous amount of people who are not only breaking the law, but not eligible for benefits to begin with. Right now, our country is in a major drug crisis, so if we require mandatory drug testing, this would discourage many people on welfare from using drugs. People dying each year of drug overdoses is higher than car accidents or guns, so it will help our country in more than one way. Taxpayers' money should not be going to the pockets of welfare recipients who have a habit of using drugs, and by continuing to make them take drug tests only condones this behavior. We as Americans need to make sure that every state gets it by having new legislators that force people on welfare to be drug tested. Today, I have attempted to persuade you to elected officials need to send a clear message to the American people who need our assistance for food or housing. It's very simple on what they need to do. Get clean, stay clean, and submit to drug testing to receive our hard-earned tax dollars. The idea of drug testing people who are receiving a check that comes from taxpayers' hard-earned money is a no-brainer. No one works hard for their money wants to see it go to someone sitting on their couch waiting for a free check to go out and buy drugs. Drug testing for welfare recipients needs to be active in all states and happen sooner than later. The people who are on welfare and not using drugs have nothing to worry about.